Hello everyone and welcome to this week's reviews. The latest Sony animation title is here as they tackle the first Christmas. And Mary and Joseph travel to that famous stable to deliver a baby who may or may not have ended up becoming famous later on. And they are joined by some animals too. This is The Star. When tackling the story of Jesus' birth, you would hope there's some respect shown by the filmmakers, and thankfully there is. I'm not sure who is cutting the trailers together, but they do not represent the film accurately. The film manages to cut between Mary and Joseph, a donkey on his own journey, and the camels of the three wise men, while giving each of them proper screen time. Mary in particular is treated with the proper reverence and is an absolute sweetheart. The film also highlights Joseph's confusion at his wife getting pregnant overnight. Both the donkey's arc is pretty standard and obvious as he goes from having his own goals to eventually wanting to help Mary. The animals and their humor never feel disruptive to the main story, and the film thankfully avoids a lot of lowbrow humor and pop culture references and even strange soundtrack choices. The sheep and the stable animals feel somewhat superfluous, but the camels provide a decent amount of laughs, as does a dove who tags along. The animation, which was farmed out to Cinecite in Montreal, does its job well enough. I wish the script was a bit more inventive and had some additional spark to it, but at the end of the day, The Star is an altogether harmless and inoffensive children's film about the birth of Jesus with some talking animals on the side. I don't have any personal attachment to the Jesus story, and this does certainly appeal to a specific niche audience. However, if you want to see a respectful rendition of the Nativity story in animation, you'll more than find that here. Next up is Martin McDonagh's potential awards contender about the various citizens of a small town as they deal with 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. You often hear people complaining about too many films resorting to cliches and predictable storylines. 3 billboards is definitely not predictable, as McDonagh managed to jump between the various people in this town and how they're not exactly black or white. Frances McDormand is excellent as the matriarch attempting to avenge her daughter, but not all the actions could be considered morally right. The film does not try and make us sympathize with everyone or even completely abhor everyone, with a couple of minor exceptions. Sam Rockwell's policeman is a particularly notable character in that he's a terrible person, and McDonagh does not attempt to change our minds on that, and yet even he does a couple of good things. Is he forgivable? No, but it highlights the complexities of human nature and right versus wrong. The film even thankfully avoids the annoying cliché of child who hates their parent for selfish reasons, because McDormand's son has completely justifiable reasons for getting annoyed at his mother's actions. The script also mixes dark humor into the film without feeling jarring. The comedic elements that appear definitely come from an uncomfortable place, as the film directly questions our moral compass. They make the more shocking scenes have that much more impact. I also want to mention Caleb Landry Jones, who stands out as he essentially finds himself reacting to many of McDormand's acerbic comments, while having a strong character arc of his own. Everyone is fleshed out, and where the story takes them is surprising, and McDonagh does not even feel the need to wrap things up with a clean bow. And yet, even with everything that happens on screen, 3 billboards still manage to avoid being too cynical. It's a balancing wire act that succeeds tremendously well. Thank you for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.